welcome to this is a bit of a different video. Instead of having um, all the matches in consecutive videos, we're going to be actually doing a Season 4 review where I go through all the matches of the season and then just season statistics, just to change it up a little bit, just to see how I guess, how you guys really like it or not. If you guys do like this, I will to probably go like this in the future and just do maybe the one or two tests that you'll see live on a video. Otherwise, it will be most likely this, because it's a lot easier for me to then record a lot of the cricket captain footage in big chunks, and then I can just go over each set like tests and talk about what happened. So we'll see how it goes. But we had 4 series this season. We started off against India and we went to India. We actually lost that series 1-0. In the first test, Rainyard van Tonda made 225. You can see there we did make 625. We also brought in 2 new players, such as this bloke here called Spectra Foray. I believe he is a regen player. He does not play domestic cricket for South Africa. He plays in the Australian Domestic League for Tasmania. He's a 21-year-old now. He had a first-class bowling average of 23, so very strong. And that was quite good to sort of reward him as well. We also brought in this guy as well, Danny Lyle, 20-year-old, I believe a regen. I'm not too sure though. His current year in first class cricket, he averaged 50, and I thought I had to reward him based on his age, quite young and could be a promising prospect. Pretty much though, it was pretty much the same contingency of players. Although I brought in Tabraiz Shamsi. He's much older. He's only played a few tests, but I wanted to bring him in because obviously the Indian wickets, you usually play 2 spinners. And you would assume with a score of 625 that we would at least win. Unfortunately, we drew. I kind of misinterpreted the way we were playing. I believe it took us 2 days to bat, and then India ended up making 400 basically. Again, I'm sure Indian viewers can let me know. I've not heard of a lot of these players. I've obviously heard of Shaw, Iyer, Sharma, Yadav, and pretty much that's it. I don't know who Rayo is, so there was no Kohli for a few of these tests, so I'm not sure if he was injured or he just was dropped. So it was interesting seeing India running a very different team than what I am accustomed to. And this is the 4th year, so a lot of the Indian players are a fair age already. But you would think though there'd be a few of their top spinners, such as Jadeja or Ashwin, who I think are only 31, would be getting games. But even Rishbar Pant, he was a pretty young keeper, so I'm not sure why he didn't get a game. But as you see there, Mehraj took 5 wickets in that innings. So India did have to follow on because we set 625 and they didn't get within the 200 runs. So we did enforce the follow on. And pretty much here is where India saved it. We couldn't get Samson out, or we couldn't get Yadav out, which I was really annoyed at, because we had India on the ropes effectively at 7 for 182, and then they effectively made nearly a 200-run stand between these two, so that really annoyed me. And yeah, we didn't even get to bat in the second innings. In the second test, I pretty much kept the same team, although I did take out Rabada and I took out Spectra Foray. That is because as we did enforce the follow-on, and India did bat for 2 consecutive sessions. Rabada and Foray were heavily fatigued, and I didn't have enough turnaround to give them physio treatment and then have them be full fitness. So Ngidi got a game, and Tokelo Radley came back into the side. We made a decent score. We did win the toss again, 326. Akshay took 6 wickets. I think he's a spinner. Yeah, he bowls off spin. But yeah, I don't know much of their bowlers. I know of I don't know why Bumrah didn't get a game but yeah, that is our first innings. India, again, this time they played a bit more of a familiar squad. And they made 279 though, so we did bowl well in this first innings. Maharaj again took 5 wickets. But pretty much everyone else, Ngidi bowled well, and Shamsi got carded a bit, so yeah. In the second innings, we made 229 again. We just had key batting collapses after Zolan Crooks went out for 21. Like the Cock made 9, Mulder 8. We were pretty much, I want to say, not cruising, but when you're 3 for 143, you at least hope you're going to make 300. But a very disappointing performance in that innings. And effectively, India had a very small total to chase on day 4, 277. We did have them in trouble at 2 for 8, as you can see on the right-hand side, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough to counteract, and I probably put that down to not having Rabada in the side, because he's a real X-factor, Rabada, but yeah, so we did lose that test by 5 wickets. So for the third test and the final test, I ended up changing it up a bit. I took out Janiman Milan, and I took out a few other players just because even if we drew the series, India would have won the series on, if we had won this test, India would have won the series on, merit or whatever it is, because they won the previous series. But I ended up giving a debutant to Marquis Ackerman, who made 92 on debut, and this bloke here called Joshua Richards. He did bat well, 46 in the first innings. We brought back Oliver Cohen as well, except he completely flopped. You can see here India did bring back Bumrah, and for some reason Virat Kohli was bowling. I'm not sure why, but 362 is probably a respectable score. Again, we did bowl India out for a relatively cheap score of 227. Rabada 4 wickets, Maharaj 4 wickets. Probably the 2 standouts of the Indian series, to be fair, for our bowling sake. And Rishbhar Pant made 114. In our second innings, De Kock top scored with 76, and Richards was 68. A bit more, another decent sort of ish total, and I honestly thought when we got to 330 we were going to win because the wicket was really deteriorating. But you see here, we got close to bowling them out. They were 7 for 289. They were 7 for 299. And we had them 5 for 198. It's just unlucky, and India, credit where credit's due, they batted out that test really well. Moving on to the second series, we played England in a 5-test series over in South Africa. Here is the first test. England won the toss, and it was a very batting-friendly wicket. England made 479 in the first innings. You can see Jofra Archer made 94. We had England at 5 for 288, and they ended up making 9 for 479, so very disappointing. Rabada bowled well with 4 wickets, very economical. And England's middle order pretty much saved them in the first innings. And amazing effort by Joshua Richards, who made 132 in his second test and third innings. You see here, I brought some new bloke in called Zam Palfreman. He's an opener, averaging 49 in first-class cricket. 23-year-old. Again, it's always hard to judge when you blood openers in Test cricket because they always have to face the hardest bowlers. But Ackerman in his second Test made 90, a really respectable score. But we got really good support here from De Kock and Mulder, who both made 70s. And yeah, we made 543, so it was a really good total. But unfortunately, England, they made 5 for 197. I don't think we batted. Yeah, so they got to bat, and then we didn't get to bat again. And that, I mean, when your first team makes nearly 500, and then the second team makes 500, you're going to get a draw. There's not really much you can do about it. In the second Test again, we batted on a complete road. Very disappointing again. You see Joshua Richards, 240 in only his third Test. He previously made 100 in that last Test, and he did make 240 in this Test. A fantastic total for an individual score. I believe he was the last wicket, and we ended up making 459. There's the England bowlers there. A lot of new players in there, but Archie was probably the pick of their bowlers. But yeah, he's all class. England in reply made 318, so they would, they didn't have to follow on. Rory Burns back at the top of the order made 94, and Ollie Pope. But yeah, we at least got their tail out really cheaply. It was just Christie and I think Pope had a really big partnership, which really put a thorn in the side. But you see Ngidi bowled well. You're probably wondering why Rabada didn't play. That is because the England series was again a back-to-back, like the Indian. There was like the first and second Test were back-to-back, and Rabada was just spent. I couldn't risk bowling him in this Test and getting him injured, because usually what happens if they get injured, they'll miss like 6 weeks and then it's pointless. But yeah, we at least, Ngidi at least bowled well. I was pleased with his performance. In the second innings, I was trying to get a lead of at least, I think it was like near 300. And it was going in okay. We were 2 for 84, then we lost a quick wicket. And Jack Snyman ended up making his second Test 100, a really good performance from him. And yeah, it was just a little bit of cameos all round, but pretty much the only really noteworthy performance was Snyman. And then in the last innings, England, again, sort of like the Indian Test, where we had India at 2 for 8. This time we had England at 2 for 10, 3 for 53. And then their middle order just broke away and we couldn't really do much. So it was just a bit disappointing. In the third Test, we actually lost. We were pretty much humiliated. We lost by an innings and 38 runs. England won the toss. Joe Root, fantastic performance, 247. They nearly made 600. I brought Rabada in. I also brought this guy in, Ishmael Furman. He's a 16-year-old. He was the number 1 leading wicket taker for spinning in the domestic league, so I wanted to give him a go. And again, he's very young, very much of a raw prospect, so I was really intrigued on seeing how he would go against sort of technically one of the best teams in the world. Yeah, it was always going to be hard getting near 592, and unfortunately we made 297, which means we would have followed on, and we didn't really have much to work with. You see there, we lost pretty much our last 4 wickets for under 50, just over 52 runs, so 4 for 52, that's really poor there. Partnerships. And in the second innings, we just completely got humiliated. We were 4 for 27, not really much we could have done. I mean, we had Ackerman and Mulder at least hang around and De Kock, but there wasn't really much we could have done. I mean, England, to their credit, deserved the win and they got it. In the fourth Test, We lost again. Again, we won the toss. Again, we had top order failures. 3 for 15 is not where you want to be. And again, we had to work hard for this to make 323. And to my team's credit, we at least have a team that, if there's quick wickets, there is, like, I know that if you go look back on their first season, there was an innings where we got bowled out for, I think, 90 or something, or 80. We haven't got that for a while, so that has been really good. So it's always good to see that you have a bit fight back from positions 4, 5, 6, but I mean, you're 3 for 15, you can't really do much there. England in their first innings completely crushed us. Addy made 142, Root 57, Christie 71. I'm sure you guys are wondering where Ben Stokes is. I'm not sure. Personally, I don't know where he is or when he is back, because you know how much Ben Stokes killed us in that last series we played him over there, and I think he was just injured. This guy here, Ethan Bosch, he's an all-rounder. He took 6 wickets on debut in the first inning, so a really good performance from him. Second innings, we were just completely humiliated. Bowled out for 149. I think that was our lowest score for the save this season. We were 5 for 44. Weaver took 7 wickets. It was just a horrible performance, and they had to chase 26 runs or something, and they were 3 for 27. You know, you can't really work with that. But yeah, in the 5th test, I pretty much just went, we've already lost the series. There's really no point for me to play inconsistent players, because if you look, there was a bit of inconsistency at the top of the order. So I basically just took out a bunch of players and just threw in some young players. And you can see here we brought in a guy called Justin Burrell. He made 74 in his first innings. And we also brought in Christopher Hayward, who is a really good young prospect. He made 62, Snyman 88. So again, we had starts at the top of the order, except no one pushed on for 100, which was disappointing. And to lose, your last 5 wickets for 65 runs is disappointing as well. Oops. England set 293 in the second inning, or the first innings. We did at least, Rabada bowled well, 5 wickets for 57. Pina was a new player. He took 2 wickets, and Maharaj took 3 wickets. In the second innings, we batted fantastically. Christopher Hayward on debut made 100. And Joshua Richards made another big score of 131. And Burrell even made 62. So I just thought, let's declare. I think we could have enough to sort of bowl them out. And unfortunately, England, to their credit again, batted out really well. Zach Crawley, 103. And yeah, we couldn't bowl them out, which was disappointing, but you always get that. I mean, I did declare late on the 4th day, and England just went full defensive. But yeah, so that's 2 series so far. We haven't won 1 series again. Then India came back to play us, and we got completely whitewashed 3-0. There's the first innings. I'm not going to go through the whole innings though, just because we saw what India did in the last series. I pretty much kept the same squad, as you can see there, as what I did against England. But yeah, we got completely bamboozled against India in that first innings. This bloke here, Devada Padikalal, or whatever his name is, he made 303. He carried his bat. He didn't get out at all. Fantastic performance. We just couldn't really do anything. 501. Burrell made 138, so a really good total from him. We did make 377, but yeah, I'm just a bit dejected, as you can probably tell by some of these performances, because we do have promise, but it's just we're not having the right source click at the right time. And I think we at least tried to go for the title from the chase from memory. I think it was like 360, and we did get close. We were 273 all out, and the wicket was terrible on the last day, so I couldn't really just go park the bus and go full defensive. Oh no, sorry. This one was, I did. So yeah, this one we were chasing at least, I think, 400. We got to the last day, and I had a crack at it in the first session of the last day. Unfortunately, our run rate was not good enough, and we lost really early wickets. So I decided to just full on play defensive. There was about 2 overs left for the whole game, and as you can see here, Maharaj got out. He'd faced 133 balls. Pretorius, he faced 81 balls, and Rabada 56. So we were pretty much defending for our lives there. Just couldn't hold on, so it was a bit disappointing. And in the last test, India beat us by 3 wickets. Again, India made 400, a really, really big total. Couldn't really do much there. Maharaj, probably the standout bowler, took 5 wickets. There's us, first innings, 195. India made 122, and then we made 326. So there is that series. In the last series we played Bangladesh. We beat them 2-0 in the test series. First test we played fantastic, won by 9 wickets. We bowled Bangladesh out for 178. Rabada took 7 for 70, a fantastic bowling performance there. We made 303. Christopher Hayward again made another 100. Afrat for Bangladesh took 7 wickets. And then Rabada again in the second innings took 7 wickets. So he took 14 wickets in that test, a fantastic performance. And we only had that really short total to chase, so we got that pretty easily. In the second test, we did bowl Sri Lanka out for a fair, modest total of 293. There is a couple of new players in, such as, I believe this is Palfreman's brother. So you saw Palfreman the opener, and this is Palfreman the bowler. He took 4 wickets. Venter, Ermishan Venter, 18-year-old right-arm fast bowler, he took 1 wicket, and Maharaj again took 4 wickets. In our first innings, we did make 278, so we just fell short of the the Bangladesh total. And we did bowl really well in this second innings to negate them at 271. And Venter 4 wickets, fantastic performance on debut. I think they had a decent total. Yeah, they had about 287 to work with. We were looking quite poor. We were 3 for 65, and then we just really clicked with Burrell and Hayward. And once De Kock and Gabini came in, another new player, we just sort of steadied the ship, and that was pretty much it. But the world rankings show that we are currently 8th in the world. Very disappointing. There's the top batsman in the world. We don't have anyone except Snyman, who's 11th. Rabada is actually 2nd for the save, or for the current year. Rashid Khan from Afghanistan is 1st. And the Test Championship, we are currently 5th with 2 series to go, which will be the next season. Australia, at the start of the thing, we were actually 9th, and then we won those last 2 tests, which sort of bumped us up, which was really good. So we take that as a win, and I'm at least happy about that performance. India probably has it wrapped up where they will be in the final. So there's about probably Pakistan to England is probably really the only sides who can be in the top 2. I mean, we probably could, but we'd have to win the last 2 tests, or the last 2 series, and I don't know who they're against. So let's just hope they're against the West Indies and, let's say, Sri Lanka. But Most likely it'll be against Pakistan because we haven't played them for a while, and against probably New Zealand, I want to say. I don't think we'll be playing India because we played them twice this season. I don't think it'll be England because we played them the last 2 years. It could be Australia, so again, we'll have to see. But we have not played Sri Lanka at all in this save. I don't want to see any of that. I was going to show you the player records before we end the video. The current year we had Hayward average 51. I'm sure you can all read that there. Rabada and Maharaj both took 51 wickets, a fantastic performance. I would have liked to see their bowling average be in the low, like sort of the mid to low 20s, but unfortunately you get that where, I don't know, I always find it hard to sort of have your bowlers have a really healthy bowling average. And the team details, I was going to show you the partnerships since 2020. Oh no, we don't want that. So the current season, Danny Lyle and Ranyad Van Tonda had a high score of 202 as a partnership. Zolan Crooks and Van Tonda, a lot of these are going to be against India, and that is because we played on roads. But yeah, I don't know how I want to probably say that this season went. So effectively, we lost 3 series and we won the last series. We were pretty much competitive in at least, I don't know, 50% of our tests that we played. So there is a little bit of upside, and I hope into the 2025 season we can see further improvement. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video. If you guys really want to see more stuff like this where I play the games off screen and I then go through each and all the results, I'll do that for the season 5. But yeah, I sort of just need to know. I personally like doing it this way because, as I said, it lets me then chunk out and get a lot more. Like the series will be a lot probably shorter, but it lets me at least chunk out and get, whole saves in whole seasons in one video, which I personally like, and I can dissect why I picked certain squads and whatnot. But yeah, I do appreciate the support, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the series. But yeah, the next video will probably be up in the next week or so, or the next couple of days. So I will see you guys there.